Hi, I'm Jack Berkowitz, and I'm the Chief Data Officer of a company called Securiti.ai. We're a company that specializes in data security, data governance, and now generative AI security and governance as well. Super happy for you guys to be back. It's a crisp fall day here on the East Coast of the United States. I'm in Atlanta, and with me today is Viral Kamdar, and he's in New York. And I'm assuming it's a crisp fall day for him as well. So I wore a vest, even though I'm inside a house. You know, that way we can all celebrate. So time to get your pumpkin lattes uh,
Yeah,
very shortly. So Viral, thanks for being with us today.
delighted to be here. Very happy to be here.
So why don't we just dive in? Viral Kamdar, currently with Intuit. Prior, he was with BlackRock and has a long career in business analytics, data analytics. But you've made this recent pivot from the financial world into people data. And
Yeah.
I did the same, right? I was at
Right.
ADP for quite a while, working in people data. Similarities, differences between what you know from previous?
Yeah, I think there are significant differences. What I have learned with financial data is, experience dealing with scale, because I've spent a lot of time with very large financial institutions. The challenge with people data is a very different kind of challenge. People data, first of all, is spread across multiple applications and systems, right? That is one big difference that I find. So, you have applications and systems, let's say for payroll, for compensation, for talent acquisition, for talent retention. All of these applications and systems, operate independently. And so it can tend to create, disjoint data silos that are very difficult to govern. Um, Another significant challenge with people data is the fact that, across the employee data lifecycle, there are too many manual touch points, which makes automating data quality very, very challenging. There's obviously the challenge with compliance, privacy compliance with GDPR, CCPA. But even within this compliance, right, there are differences in standards, to do with data retention, consent management, transparency. A significant part of people management data is sensitive to highly sensitive. So, access controls is a significant consideration, compared to, let's say, financial data. Uh, I think the overall challenge, people data in a sense is so important to any organization because its ability to drive operational excellence. You're driving decisions to do with talent acquisition, with compensation, with workforce management. But at the same time, it requires adherence to the strictest standards of privacy and compliance. So I think that is the big difference between people data and financial data,
Yeah,
especially.
which is really, it's funny you say that because, I had come from a background that was really towards financial data or ERP data or
Right.
even CX data. And then when I dove into people data myself, it was like, wow, I
Yeah.
thought we knew what we were doing, but
Yeah. Yeah.
the level of governance is really through the roof.
Yeah.
Which really, if you think about and I want to pivot a little bit to talk about, generically about analytics and about sort of the trends. The big thing right now is how do we deal with unstructured documents? How do we deal with data governance
Yeah.
in, whether it's the financial markets or the people market or the people data world or whatever it happens to be? What do you
Sure.
see the big challenges are between sort of that old way of doing data governance or that old way of doing access governance, the
Yeah.
things that you needed to do with structured data, but now you're into unstructured data. You're
Right.
into how do I use generative AI, or maybe you're combining structured and unstructured to get
Right.
together.
Okay. Absolutely.
Talk to me about that sort of data governance and that access governance challenge.
Sure. I think every organization has tons of unstructured data sitting at multiple places, right? It could be emails, it could be attachments, it could be Slack channels, other collaborative tools. Now this can potentially present a gold mine for analytical insights, but it can also be a minefield of governance challenges because unlike structured data, unstructured data is difficult to catalog. It is difficult to classify. It's very challenging to validate. It's difficult to also identify owners of this data, right? And determine access control policies. So I think overall that presents significant governance challenges. I think what it takes to succeed with unstructured data is to have sophisticated metadata management systems that can process unstructured data and classify it with the same rigor as structured data. I don't believe that unstructured data in isolation is very impactful. I think using it in conjunction with structured data is where the true power is unleashed. Like, just to give you an example, you can have structured data, let's say a use case to do with employee tenure, right? Stagnation and compensation, declining performance reviews, right? On the other hand, you can have unstructured data to do with, let's say, negative sentiment that is seen through, understanding emails, or common complaints on surveys, right? Both of these can be combined to potentially model employee attrition risk, right? So it's a power of combining both structured and unstructured data. So I think another thing that would take to succeed is to have data architectures that can integrate both structured and unstructured data in a uniform manner. I think that's where true power can be unleashed.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I was at a dinner last night here in Atlanta. There were about 25 C-level people from various Atlanta-based businesses. And we had this long discussion about unstructured information. And one of the participants really brought out something. He was actually a venture capitalist, brought out something that I thought was essential for people to realize. The difference also is between structured and unstructured is, in the structured world, we can rely on data stewards to do the cleanup and everything. But in the unstructured world, the idea of making people use a top-down taxonomy has kind of failed, right?
Right.
And so we kind of need to meet people and their behavior where they're going to be.
Right.
And that is the use of automated tools to do the metadata creation or the classification or the dynamic, multiple hierarchy type things.
Right.
That really is the essence, as opposed to forcing people to use some discipline because they just are not do it. Thoughts? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I think the other piece of the challenge, again, we come down to regulatory risk here, is that unstructured data, employee data, contains tons of sensitive PI information for which one is not obtained explicit consent for analytics, right? So right off the bat, you're kind of exposed to regulatory risk with GDPR and CCPA. So I think that is another big challenge. You can solve for all of this, right? But then how do you drive consent here? So I think it's easier said than done. It's very, very difficult. There's regulatory challenges. There's this challenge of kind of integrating both structured and unstructured data. I don't know of any organization that has managed to kind of harness both. I'd love to kind of hear more use cases on this, but I think if one succeeds in doing this, I think it can be very, very impactful.
Awesome. So why don't we stop there, because it actually gives me a great opportunity to talk about Securiti AI. So like I said, I'm the Chief Data Officer of Securiti AI, and like Viral, I've had a long career in being, running data programs in the financial world, in the ERP world, and also in the people data world, and one of the things that we do at Securiti AI is help you manage that data. So we help you get the data governance. We help you align and annotate content, and really can do that with both structured and unstructured data in one capability that we call the data command graph. I want to thank Viral for being my guest today. Again, it's fall here on the East Coast of the U.S. We're all going to be snuggled up either with our spiced pumpkin lattes or our hot chocolate soon. And so, Viral, thank you so much for being with us. That's Viral Kamdar from Intuit.
Thank you. It's been a great experience.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.